February 24th was the day the Russians launched an invasion of Ukraine, and more specifically, the capital city of Kiev. This had been in the works since early 2021 and had then just come to an execution. In this video, I will be talking about the war between Russia and Ukraine. Part 1. How the war started. The reason why Vladimir Putin, leader of Russia, started the biggest war in Europe since World War II is Putin wanting to overrun and depose the Ukrainian government to end their hopes to join the Western Defensive Alliance, NATO. Putin planned that attacking capital city of Kiev to accomplish that plan, but after around a month, he abandoned that due to Ukraine holding their ground very well, and they changed their target to southeastern Ukraine. As mentioned, this entire invasion started on February 24th, 2022. Putin telling the Russian people that the goals of his were to demilitarize and denazify Ukraine, as well as ensuring Ukraine's neutral status. He claims he wants to protect the people of Russia from several years of genocide and bullying from the Ukrainian government. Some statements or comments made by Putin which could have fueled the start of this war includes him believing Ukraine is an illegitimate state, that Russians, Ukrainians, and Belarusians all belong to an all-Russian nation, and him believing Ukraine has no right to call itself an independent nation. This war sadly also commenced after the conflict between Kremlin-backed proxies in the Donbas region due to the 2014 annexation of Crimea, all of which taking place on Ukrainian soil. I am target number 1, and my family is target number 2, says Ukraine's elected president, who is shown on the left, Volodymyr Zelensky. He says, along other ministers, that Russia's future and its future place in the world are at stake, especially after multiple attempts by Russian troops to storm the presidential compound. It is crazy to think that the amount of things that have happened over only a few short months. Part 2. The consequences. The main consequence of this war is the number of casualties in the span it's been going. Tens of thousands of deaths within the first 50 days, whether it's innocent civilians or troops. Of the other side, it's very tragic. Some not so tragic but nonetheless bad consequences for people include astronomically high gas prices, which top $2 a liter, along with food prices and prices for things such as wheat, corn, cooking oil, and fertilizer, which is due to Ukraine and Russia being the main exporters of those products. All of that has caused shortages and pushing millions of people into world hunger. Like mentioned before, consequences for Russia could be very and are already very severe. For McDonald's, Starbucks, FIFA, Disney, the list keeps going on and on for companies who are cutting off Russia. Almost every sport you can think of has temporarily or banned Russia from participating internationally, including the Olympics and even esports. From live performances, television, film studios, and just simply connections with other countries have been cut off. Anything to make Russia's economy plummet. Putin has also been accused of countless war crimes. This war has definitely shaken up worldwide relationships and caused the fastest growing refugee crisis in recent history. 5.8 million people have already fled Ukraine, which strains humanitarian groups who can be crowded with people already fleeing from other world events. It doesn't seem to be getting any better or will get any better. Predictions have already been made that around 8.3 million people will eventually flee Ukraine as well. And finally, part 3, how much longer this war will last. State Department's top spokespeople believe and have said this war between Ukraine and Russia will rage through the end of the year and even longer. Those consequences dealt to Russia and countries cutting ties is also in hopes that Russia will at some point have to pull out and reach a diplomatic agreement which would hopefully bring an end to this violent war. The fear that the war could go on longer than months is very clear. Members of Congress have quietly started comparing the Korean War, which lasted the 3 years from 1950 to 1953, to the war currently going on between Ukraine and Russia. The Ukrainian troops have clearly gone above and beyond expectations and have shown incredible bravery, as said by leader Zelensky, who said after the first 50 days, the most important decision of their life, to fight and survive in 50 days of war when Russia gave us a maximum of 5. As of now, it seems the war won't be ending anytime soon, as Russia continues to invade and conquer eastern Ukraine, including Chernobyl, and circling back on Kiev once again. Hopefully after watching this video you learned something new on the war between Russia and Ukraine.